As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening, and this week we did it. It is episode 100 episodes, and to celebrate this momentous occasion, we're having ribs. Simpsons reference there for my friends. No, we are talking Halo, specifically Halo 2, and the insane circus of insanity that was the Halo 2 launch all those years ago. If you guys remember, it was fucking crazy. And I was pretty torn on what game I wanted to cover here for episode 100. I wanted something big. I wanted something that was pretty historic in the gaming world and something that was special to me, frankly. And I started kicking ideas around episode 90, and the two games that I was kicking back and forth in my head were Halo 2, obviously, and Super Mario Brothers, the original one. And as you can tell, we decided to go with Halo 2. Some of you have asked, actually Stupid Monkey pointed it out on Instagram today when I revealed the hint for the show. When are we going to cover Super Mario Brothers? The original Super Mario Brothers, the inspiration for the logo and everything, eventually. I promise I haven't forgotten about it. I have a plan for it, basically, that I decided upon when I decided to cover Halo 2 today. I'm almost not sure what to say about Super Mario Brothers. Like, it's It's the most important video game of my life. I'm sure it's the most important video game of a lot of your lives. It's probably the most important video game ever made. My phone is ringing and it's a comedy booker. I should really take that because I could use the money. But no, this is episode 100, damn it. And he doesn't listen to the show. He's not going to know I ignored his call to talk to you guys. So eventually we are going to talk about Super Mario Brothers, I promise. But today we're going to focus on Halo 2. My pal Tyler is here. And before we get into that, you guys know I'm going to do some house cleaning. And I got a little bit to do this time. I don't know how long this is going to go. If you don't want to listen, you can go into the description box, but I have some thank yous. I want to just thank all of you guys for the show. And then I have a little bit of news I want to touch on. And then I'm going to quickly go over what I've been playing, and then we're going to get into the show. So I wouldn't skip. Oh yeah, and I'm going to reveal who won a Switch Lite in about 30 seconds. So just don't go anywhere. Just listen to the whole thing. It's episode 100. Come on. We all earned this, all right? So I'm going to give some thank yous. I'm going to suck this show's dick a little bit because it's going to be 2 years before I get another 00 episode I can do. So we're going to have some fun today. First off, we're giving away a Switch Lite. If that's not a good start to the show, I don't know what the fuck is. I've been hyping it up for weeks, and the moment is here. This thing was paid for by our Patreon supporters here at the show, so thank you guys so much for doing that. I'm glad I was able to give something back to one of our listeners. I wish I could give you all one, but if I'm not rich, and even if I was rich, I probably wouldn't be able to find that many Switches. So I'm going to post the video as well. You can find a link to it in the description of the podcast, or it's going to be posted on all of our social media feeds as well, at Member the Game on Twitter and Instagram, or look for us on Facebook. So if you want to watch it without knowing who wins, pause this, go watch it right now. It's only like a minute and a half long. It's a spinning wheel. You can see who won. I'm not doing the big draw or anything. But I'm going to tell you who won in 3, 2, 1. Corey! Congratulations. I don't know your last name. I don't know exactly where you live. I really don't know much about you. All I know is that you seem to be a nice guy. You've been a loyal supporter of the show for months. I believe you work in a gaming store. And now you're the new owner of a beautiful Canadian turquoise Switch Lite. So congratulations, man. I will shoot you a message on Patreon later today. Thank you to everybody that entered, either by supporting the show over on Patreon or by emailing in and answering our trivia question. Like I said, if I could hook you all up, I would. I really appreciate it. I'd like to do another giveaway down the road, but I can't do them every month. Sorry about that. You guys, if you've been listening to the show for any regularity, you know I got in some trouble. I kind of had to bend the rules, but whatever. We got this one done. Good enough. Congratulations, dude. And thank you to everybody that entered. Speaking of everybody that supported the show over on Patreon, we are breaking our record for supporters literally daily right now. And I don't know if that was just people signing up in the build up to the Switch deadline giveaway deadline entry thing. Probably, maybe it was. But hopefully a bunch of you stick around. I feel like I'm giving you guys a half decent product. It's only $2. If you sign up, it's $2 a month. You get access to our weekly Patreon exclusive show Expansion Pass. You also get to suggest games for upcoming episodes of the show. Our Patreons vote in a monthly poll to pick which of those games will win. This month's poll did just end, FYI, but you can still get in on next month's. You can submit questions and comments for the Q&A episodes, and I think beginning next week, I'm going to start reading one every week as well, and you have the ability to send those in, and you get a shout out on our show, just like the following people. If I had it queued up and ready to go, all of our new Patreons: Fraser Burns. Oh no, wait, I did you last week. Sorry, Fraser, you already got your shout out. Alex Martinez, April Sane, Nick Sills, Vlad Steen, Kyle Paul, Mark 209. Desert Tortoise, Joe Mack, Casey Rarick, welcome back. And then some of our older Patreons as well, including Dave McGee, Doug Dorn, Dustin L., Evan Refuse, Eric Kennard, hope I said that right, Gary C., James Clark, Jason Adams, Jeffrey Mathis, Joe Buck, Joe Gillespie, John Taylor, Josh Morgan. Couple of things. We're getting too many people. I don't know. I might have to cut it back to you get like maybe 1 month. One episode a month. I do all the shout outs. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep doing it this way. And I'm going to beg you guys, you. You paid to be on Patreon. You can do whatever you want. Please stop changing your names, because I'm trying so hard to figure out who I've given shout outs to and who's who, and I can't see who you were when you change your names, and I don't know who the fuck you are. So if you want to change your Patreon name, I don't care if you change it every week. If you think it's funny to do, fucking give her, just please shoot me a message and tell me who you were so that I can keep it in my records. That would really help me out. So $2 a month, going to get you all that stuff. Like I said, you get Expansion Pass. This is going to be a little bit longer plug, but that's because I'm explaining the perks. I earned this. I'm going to talk. You get Expansion Pass. Last week was about retro game preservation, save states, ROMs, emulators, and the use of retro games in 2020. This week, I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for an episode, but here's the thing. I have literally spent about 12 to 15 hours a day over the last few days working on our new website, rememberthegamepodcast.com. Hopefully it is up by the time you hear this, but I'm recording this at almost 8 p.m. Tuesday night here at Edmonton, and then I still have to keep working on the website afterwards, so I don't know. It'll be ready in the next couple of days. But anyway, I've been working on the website. And part of that is going over every game that we've covered over the last 100 episodes, uploading them. There's a lot of memories. I forgot some of the games that we had covered. So I think what I'm going to do on this Sunday's expansion pass is rank every game that we have covered. I'm not going to do a huge in-depth review on every game because there's almost 100 games in there, and you can go listen to whatever episode you want to hear what I think of the game in more detail. But I'm going to just sort them out. I'm going to rank every game, go over some memories, and just look back on the last 100 episodes of the show. So that's the plan for this Sunday's episode. And like I said, the Patreon poll just ended. Final Fantasy for the NES came out on top. I did not expect it to be Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I don't think most people did, but your wish is my command. An episode about Final Fantasy will be popping up here in the next month or so. And for some of you, I know some of you were disappointed that San Andreas didn't win, or if any other game didn't win a poll over the last 4 or 5 months and you were upset about it. They are all going to be covered eventually, I promise, as I need them to fucking keep the show going. So you're going to get episodes about them eventually, but Final Fantasy won this month's poll. It's going to get the props. It's going to get up there first. So quickly, I meant to tell you guys, I ran the listener poll over on our show, not our Patreon game poll, but just a free, quick listener poll, seeing what you guys think, what you guys would like to change about the show, what you'd like to add to the show. I will share the results with you guys soon, but it turns out that the company that I hosted the poll through locked most of the responses behind a fucking monthly paywall that I did not know was going to be there, and it's not cheap. So I am going to pay eventually to see the answers. And then when I do, I'm probably going to post a second poll with a few more questions to get my money's worth because that one capped at 10. But thank you all for voting on that. I really appreciate your feedback. It's very good. And there's a lot of nice comments in those feedback or in the polls as well. So that was really nice of you guys. Thank you. And that's a great segue to the thing I really wanted to get out of the way here before we get into a little bit of the news. And that is thank you. Thank you all for listening to the show. And I know I say it a lot, but like really, you guys, like a ton of podcasts don't make it to episode 100. Most of them don't a lot don't even make it to like episode 10, much less episode 100. And usually that's because the host quits. One of the hosts gets fed up. I've done that before with my podcasts, and the hosts usually quit because people aren't listening and people aren't supporting the show. It is fucking so tough to start a podcast without a following if you're not famous or you don't have an audience from somewhere else. It is so hard to get noticed in the global podcast scheme because there's so many fucking podcasts. But that hasn't been the case here. That has not been the case. We have been noticed. Listen, you guys are fucking awesome. And I know, like I rant about the internet and the shitty people that are on it every week. I talk about it to my friends and my girlfriend or my dog fucking every day. I hate the internet. I hate social media. But somehow we have managed to group together hundreds of people and none of you suck. Or if you do, you haven't sucked me. You're sucked with me or whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. You like seriously, I say it every week, but none of you seem like pieces of shit. You are all nice people, and it seems like our downloads keep going up every week too. You guys are fantastic. I've made friends across Canada. I've made friends in the United States. I've made friends on the other side of the world, over in Europe and in Australia, and just like I can't thank all of you, but like on the first episode of this show, one of the first things I said was, I don't know if anyone will even listen to this. And I would have been happy with 100 downloads an episode. If I had gotten to there, that would seem unfathomable to me, 100 downloads an episode. We're seeing thousands around the planet, you guys. I don't care that we're not the biggest retro game podcast on the internet, because as far as I'm concerned, we're just not the biggest yet. We are going to be there. I am sure of it, okay? Because we have an awesome community here that pushes this show, and I'm going to keep talking, and I'm going to keep swearing if you guys want to keep listening to it. So sincerely, whether you've listened since day one, or this is your first episode, whether you support us on Patreon, or all you do is share our posts, or you just listen to us alone like a weirdo, if you've ever left us a good review, thank you. I'm truly, sincerely thankful. I'm fucking proud of this podcast. Frankly, I'm as proud of what we have built here as I am of anything I have done in 36 years on this planet, except maybe my comedy career. And quite frankly, I might be more proud of this about my comedy career because comedy is fun, but video games are sincerely my passion. in life. And you guys make it possible for me to sit here and talk about them every week. So thank you all so much. To all the friends that I have made, everyone I interact with on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on the Patreon, fucking whatever. To all my close personal friends that have backed the show and in some cases invested on our Patreons to help me, thank you. And I just quickly, to all the people that have taken time out of their lives to come on the show, be it coming over to my house or calling me. They've done research. Some of them have bought video games to play just to review them here on the show out of their own pocket. I haven't paid them. I haven't paid for their shows or anything like that. I've done 100 episodes of the show. 3 of them I've done alone. The other 97 I've had a guest, and I have more already banked. And as much as I don't mind doing it alone, it is so much more fun when I get to do it with my friends. So thank you guys all so much. And I want to give a very specific and proper shout out to everyone that's appeared on this show over the last 100 episodes, which include David Ray on, I don't know if you all want your last name said. Some of you, I know you by your first and last name. So David Ray, Andre, Tyler, Miklos, Bradley McHugh of the Movie Epidemic podcast, my pal Chris, Patrick, Brad Warren, Dan and Rob, my 2 oldest friends, to Darren, Kevin Light, Christopher DeJuric, Kyle Shaw, Kyle Paul, Ty Brandt, Ethan, to my nephew Ben, and last and certainly least, former Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Mark McHugh. Thank you guys so much for backing the show, helping me out, coming on, doing everything you guys do to help me. You guys are fucking rad. That's it. What are we at? 12 and a, that's pretty good. If I throw in the music that's going to go in before this, so we're about 14 minutes into the show, and that's all the personal dick sucking I'm going to do. Now we're going to get into the news and then talk Halo 2. So thank you guys so much. You're the best. Quickly, on the news, Sony, more Sony news. If you didn't know, they were going to drop PlayStation 5 information last week, and we were all excited, and then they canceled it. Out of respect to what's going on in the world, to the protesting, to the changes that are going on in the world right now, which are fucking critical. They had to happen. I'm glad they're happening. I support that they're happening. It was a classy gesture by Sony. Anyone that's coming out saying it was just a PR move, you're probably right, but that's not the point. The point is it was the right thing to do, and they fucking did it when they didn't have to. So tip of the old ball cap to Sony. They have announced that June 11th, they are rescheduling it. We are going to get PlayStation 5 news now. Pretty exciting. I was excited last week. I'm fucking excited again. I think they want to get out there before Microsoft has their next presentation, just to kind of get out in front and at least, I don't want to say stop the bleeding, because I don't know if Sony's bleeding yet, but I do think if this is a boxing match, Microsoft has had Sony in the corner and they've been wailing on them for about 2 minutes. And I think Sony wants to come out and land a couple punches before the end of the round. That was a fucking solid analogy. So pretty excited about it. I don't think we're going to see pricing. I don't think we're going to see a release date yet. I think we're just going to see some games, some features, stuff like that. Sony and Microsoft seem to be playing chicken as far as announcing their prices and their dates first. They're kind of, I can't imagine Sony blinking the first time they give us information. But we'll see. Somebody's got to eventually. One of them's, it's not like they're going to come out at the same fucking time and just be like, okay, on 3, you tell them how much you did. And then it's like 1, 2, 3, $4.99. Like that's not what's going to happen. Like one of them's going to have to reveal it first. So I just don't think it's going to happen yet. But I don't care. I'm excited. Fucking, we're going to see some information. We're going to see some games. Fuck yeah, stuff is starting to reopen here in Alberta, so hopefully I can pick up some comedy gigs over the next few months, and I can afford to buy one of those bad boys in the fall, because I can't fucking wait. And in other very much less exciting news, I wanted to touch on Sega. If you guys remember last week, there was some big announcement coming. I talked about it. I had addressed some of the rumors. They were saying, what if there's a Dreamcast Mini coming out? What if they're working with Microsoft? What if Sonic is going to be in Halo? Because fucking Microsoft bought Sega and it's going to be the biggest merger in the history of video games. Turns out it's some stupid cloud arcade thing and tiny Game Gears. Yeah, I know, right? Like it's like wah wah. Apparently they want to do some streaming with arcade machines. Like you're going to be able to stream games on your arcade machines, which I guess in Japan is maybe a big deal because Sega's a big deal over there and arcades are still kind of big thing over there. But I really don't care here, but we'll see. See, I'm always just like it. Just because I don't care doesn't mean it's not going to be big. But I think that seems to be the general consensus, but we'll see what they do. And then as far as these Game Gears go, they released Game Gear Minis. And here's the thing, and I want to state this. This could be cool if it was done right. If they had released a Game Gear Mini filled with Sega Genesis games, nobody cares about Game Gear games. If you'd filled it up with Genesis games and made it like I'm holding my iPhone right now. If you had made it the size of an iPhone, that would be cool. I would probably buy that. That'd be pretty rad. But these things are like 1.5 inches big. They fit in the palm of your hand. They're like $60. They have 4 games on them. They look like they're going to be too small to play. Half of them have like RPGs, like Shining Force on them. I don't even think you're going to be able to read the font or anything. I don't get it. I do not get how they think this is a good idea. $60 for 4 games too is fucking ridiculous. I paid $100 for my Sega or my Genesis Mini over there with like 40 games on it. My buddy Chris said he's seen people online calling them Sega butt plugs, which is fucking awesome. But it's pretty disappointing. What can you do? Like I mentioned last week, none of the big news reporters seem to be picking it up, and that raised some flags to me. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Microsoft will announce something with them next month at their presentation. Maybe there's still some big news coming. Maybe Sonic will still show up in Halo. That's not going to happen, but we'll see. Who knows? Way to go, Sega. Fuck yeah, way to go. Good enough. That's it. There'll be more news next week, I promise, when we have PlayStation 5 information and stuff like that. What have I been playing over the last 7 days? And then we're going to talk Halo 2. I have not been playing very much. I've spent most of the week working on the website, actually. But I have been playing a little bit of Medieval on my PlayStation Classic. So I shouldn't say it that way because that gives away how I'm playing it. I've been playing a little bit of Medieval I've been playing it. Runner-up of last month's Patreon poll. It's not bad. We'll be recording an episode on that here in the next few weeks. I've already got it lined up, so you guys will be getting an episode on that soon. And I've jumped back into Witcher 3 on my Switch. I want to finish that game so bad because I'm really captivated by the story and the world. It's just so fucking big. Like, it borderline gives me like anxiety because there's so much to do. But it's freaking awesome. I love that game. I think it's gorgeous. The side quests aren't boring. The story's fascinating. I am eventually going to finish it. And I've been playing a little bit of Smash Brothers too. I don't know why I went back to that, but I'm terrible at Smash, but it's fun. I'm in this weird spot where I'm just kind of waiting for Last of Us 2, and it's like a week and a half away, and I don't want to get invested in another game and then get halfway through and then have Last of Us come out and then drop whatever I was doing to play Last of Us. So I'm just kind of treading water, but Witcher 3 has kind of been my go-to the last few days. So good enough. Let's get into Halo. Let's talk Halo 2, episode 100 here. Remember the game? Anyone that was playing Halo when this game came out remembers what a fucking zoo the release of this game was. I don't remember a big event, like a big game release like this prior to Halo 2. I'm not saying there wasn't one, but I don't remember. Like, now it's normal, but back then this was a huge thing. The big midnight launch. Everyone was excited to get their hands on Halo 2. And what's awesome about it is it lived up to the hype. It lived up to so much fucking hype, you guys. I have great memories of the build up to the game. I have great memories of playing the game and talking about the game. I replayed it recently. It still holds up. It's awesome. I think it's the best Halo campaign that there is. And I'm going to tell you why right now with my buddy Tyler. I'm going to cue some kick-ass music, and we are going to talk Halo 2, which originally released in North America on November 9th, 2004. Kick back, relax. Thank you for making the show what it is, and I hope you all enjoy episode 100 of Remember the Game. Here we go. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit betterhelp.com/rememberthegame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. So this is it, big 100, unless something has gone terribly wrong. And joining me via the power of the cellular telephone device is longtime podcast supporter, guest pal, former coworker, Tyler Saborin. I know that's not how you say it, but that's how I'm going to say it. How's it going, Tyler?
Really good, really good. You forgot secret love interest, but that's
right. Yeah. Well, it's not a secret anymore.
The secret's out.
So we're talking Halo 2. And I'm excited about this for a multitude of reasons. One of them is because I played through it on the Master Chief Collection, a couple months ago.
I'm so ripped off by that.
I didn't realize you were playing it on the PC version, so you don't have... How the fuck do you guys not have Halo 2? So what does it have? Just Halo? Just the first one?
Halo, the ODST, and Reach.
But you don't have Halo 2 yet.
It doesn't have Halo 2 or Halo 3 yet. They're like, it's coming soon.
Well, that's
and
what you...
Go ahead. I had a heck of a time installing it. Way to go, Microsoft. I hate that company. Bungie was smart to distance themselves from Microsoft.
Well, that's what you PC guys get. Because on my Xbox, they're all just sitting right there, and they're beautiful and ready to play. And anyway,
I think it's because they never ported them, and it probably has to do with time to port them over. I don't know.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. And I do remember when the Master Chief Collection originally launched. I didn't play it, but I remember it being just a tire fire. And now they've fixed it, and now it runs really good. So I get that maybe they're like, yeah, we can't fuck that up again. We'll take our time and make them count.
So and then to get ready for the podcast, I was like, okay, well, I'll go to trusty old YouTube and I'll just watch some videos. So I watched all the new cinematics from the remaster, and I was like, wow,
yeah, dude,
this looks amazing.
It looks dope.
And I didn't realize Ron Perlman does a voice. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh man, I didn't know who Ron Perlman was when I was 15 when this game came out, 14.
What was really rad about it was that when I was playing the Halo, when you play on the Master Chief Collection, a simple touch of one button. Someone pointed it out to me on Twitter. I didn't even know until someone said it on Twitter. It's one button on the controller, and it instantly flips between the classic graphics and then the updated remaster graphics.
Oh, that's such a good idea, because then one of the things whenever I've done Photoshop or Illustrator work, people are always like, yeah, that looks good, and they kind of just dismiss it, right? But then when you show your original photo that you've then doctored up or whatever, and then compare it to what you've done, people are like, oh, you did a lot of work to that. That's amazing. Without that comparison, people are like, yeah, that looks good, especially if someone hasn't gone back and played Halo 2 or any of the Halo games since the original release.
Yeah.
So then it just their memory of it parallels what the remastered is. And then when you actually do the comparison, you're like, oh, I had an imagination when I was 12.
Well, dude, and that's exactly what happened, because I have not played Halo 2 probably since within a year after it came out. I remember playing the campaign a couple of times back in the day, and then I hadn't played it until this past a month ago or whatever. It was when I fired it up, and I played Halo 1, and then I played Halo 2, and the Halo 1 campaign is Halo is great, but the original campaign has not aged super well. There's a lot of points where you get lost, and being in the library sucks. And
it's pretty linear. I don't know. I found it wasn't as exciting. There was lots of lulls in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously they're planting the seeds and making their foundation, right? I get it. It's fine. It's still a good game.
And even the development of the game, it wasn't developed to be a game. It was a development of graphics technology. Their initial thing was they were developing. The company, I think they were it's similar to how Pixar started. They weren't necessarily going to be doing what they ended up doing, and then kind of branched out and oh, this is great, actually, let's do this, and it just kind of evolved into
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I might be misspeaking, but I remember watching a documentary on Halo and where it came from, and it was like kind of they were like a tech division of Microsoft, and then like Bungie was a tech division of Microsoft, and that whole like the evolution of it is an interesting story. I might be misremembering it. So
they just accidentally created like one of the biggest franchises in gaming history. Like, fuck
yeah, and like this whole universe of like, you know, Super Mario, one of the, if not the biggest gaming franchise in history.
Yeah,
story and universe is fucking insane and has no like linear timeline or anything like that.
Yeah.
Halo has like a universe built behind it, similar to like, I would compare it to like Dune, The Lord of the Rings, like the whole
like Star Wars.
Yeah, like the whole mega saga of it.
Yeah,
is amazing and so thought out. And it's like I said, I think it's from one of the listeners will correct me and be like, "This guy's a fucking idiot."
People say that about me weekly, so don't even worry about people. As I think some people only listen to the show to be like, this guy's so dumb. Let's see what he says this week. But I think it was like they were just developing as like tech demos to see what chips could do and see what the graphics cards were capable of, and then they were like, "Oh, these are really fun what we're doing." And then they were like, "Okay, well, let's make a story about it." And then like I remember seeing some of the early elites, and it was just like it's very different than what it is now. Well, okay, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're leading.
Sorry. No, so I've said this on a few episodes lately, but when it's on the phone, we can't see each other. So everyone just fucking relax. We're going to we're going to interrupt each other a bunch, and that's just how it works. It's funny because like the original Halo, like it's good. It's a good game. It's a great game. It built the Xbox. The Xbox would probably not exist today without the original Halo. Like that game,
not even a little bit.
No, that game saved that console.
I bought it for Halo.
Me too.
I was a PlayStation guy. Yeah. I fucking loved Final. Like I bought a PlayStation for Final Fantasy VII. Otherwise, I was a Nintendo guy. Like this is how as the wind blows, I switch consoles. Now I'm a PC guy. So
yeah,
that just
no, same, but, dude, same. I bought it for Halo. I honestly I prefer the Xbox to the PS2, and it's because I bought my Xbox for Halo, and then just loved the system, and then it became like my.
And the controller's more comfortable. Like I like how that, even though it's bigger and bulkier, it ergonomically felt better. I don't know. I probably would play like 6 hours at a time. So
yeah.
My tiny little wrist would be complaining if it was the PlayStation controller.
No, it's a great system, and yeah, that game saved it. But like for everything Halo did for Xbox, Halo 2, like. Pumped Halo full of steroids and then spent like $100 trillion on marketing. And like, the thing is, okay, I looked up the date because I wanted to confirm it because I was 90% sure I remember this. This game came out November 9th, 2004. When this game came out, you and I were working together. We were working at TexCan in a warehouse. And I remember like you, me, Deacon. Remember Scott Deacon? So many of our.
I was talking to Brittany about him today, and I couldn't remember his freaking name.
Deacon. So many. I remember the hype, dude, and so many of us that worked there bought this game the night it came out, and then stayed up all night like playing Halo, the campaign, like in Halo 2. And like the main, like one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this game for episode 100 was just like, I guess Mario 3 was the last time before this that I remember a game getting the like insane like media advertising blow up marketing budget that Halo 2 got. Like this was such a monumental event, and everyone listening to this that was gaming at that point, that was into Halo, remembers the hype around Halo 2. It was so fucking big, Tyler. Like and it takes me back to like a fun time where you couldn't buy it digitally. You had to go to the store at midnight, the midnight launches, standing outside of like an EB Games or a GameStop or a Walmart or something to get your copy of Halo 2 and go home and just play it all fucking night. Oh yeah. It was so and cool.
To put it in perspective, like I was partying a huge amount at after hours clubs and had like no interest in gaming whatsoever. And I got this game and was like, oh no, I'm getting back into gaming for this. Like this is, it's like I was a dirtbag at that time and didn't give a shit about anything and then this came out and was like, oh, okay. I remember I actually have a mistress before partying and it is video games.
I honestly, I don't think there was a game prior to Halo 2 that I was more hyped to get my hands on. With the pop, maybe like a wrestling game on the Nintendo 64, like maybe like the No Mercy games, but like the hype around Halo 2, because we'd all played Halo 1 like over and over and over again. And I'm not even talking the multiplayer, just the campaign. Like who didn't
just
at least
the campaign hundreds and hundreds of times. Like I remember I played it with my buddy Matt Barrett. I played it with my buddy Thomas Jalbert. I played it with my buddy Ryan Zerbin. I played it with fucking Anthony Starling. I played it with every one of my buddies that I had in Morinville, every single one of them. And I played the campaign from start to finish with all of them.
Over and over and over.
And it didn't get repetitive. It was so much fun. It was the first time like co-op really took off like that. And Halo 2 was the next level.
Oh, dude. Like having just recently replayed the first 2 games, like I have been jonesing. Okay, and I'm just going to get it out of the way for the record. We are going to go into some spoilers, particularly about the ending of Halo 2. So I guess if you haven't played it, I mean, it came out 16 years ago. Fucking go play it. But you've been warned because the ending of the game is a big deal, and we are going to talk about it. So just the
Master Chief dies at the end.
Master Chief is actually Samus from Metroid's half brother, and he dies.
Ooh. Half brother, and the Doom guy's son.
Yes, I love it. Yes, but no, we are going to spoil stuff. So just you've been warned. I mean, we spoil shit on the show all the time. That's why it's a retro gaming podcast. We do spoil stuff. But like, okay, so Halo was fun, but like Halo was like an encompassing story, and then it finished, and then it was over, and you stopped them, and that was it. Like
you killed the Prophet, you blew up the ring, and that was it. You were the hero, and you Cortana and the Sergeant. What's the sergeant's name? I forget the sergeant's name. He's in Halo 2 as well.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I never remember any of their names.
He's based after the dude from Alien 2. Yeah. Like, he's awesome. But the 3 of you are the survivors, sole survivors of every ODST troop that was on the Halo ring and won.
Right.
3 survived.
And that was it. And so, like, and you really, like, from a creative story standpoint, they could have never made another Halo game and been fine. And it would have had its legacy as the game that saved the Xbox, and it was fun, and that was great. But obviously, like, with the commercial success of the first Halo, they're like, hey, we should probably make another one of those, right? And you've got Microsoft bankrolling it. And it's on, I mean, I don't know if they bankrolled, I don't exactly know how game development works, but I'm 100 trillion% sure that Microsoft had a financial interest in Halo 2 and the advertising budget and stuff that went behind it.
Yeah, they would have done distribution and advertising.
Yeah,
that
because
would have been all Microsoft. Because and then Bungie would have paid their development team.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Because after the original Halo, like, and I like the Xbox, but like, name 5 more original Xbox exclusives that were even moderately big. Like, there was Fable.
Yeah, Fable. Oh, I forgot about Fable.
Right?
That was a great game.
Like, Halo, like, that's the thing is, like, I was like, any of the games that weren't exclusives to the PS2, like, if they were on the PS2 and the Xbox, I was playing them on the Xbox. You know, stuff like some of the Tony Hawk's, stuff like the X-Men Legends games, and things like that.
Tony Hawk on the Xbox?
Yeah. That was my preferred way to play it. Yeah, because I had music on my Xbox, and then I could play it while I was playing Tony Hawk.
That makes sense.
But then
changes my opinion about you a little bit.
Oh, dude, I love the Xbox. I love the original Xbox, but it didn't have a lot of big exclusives. And still, there's no brainer that they're like, well, Halo's the game everyone knows Xbox for. There are people buying Xboxes just to play Halo. We're going to make a sequel to it, of course.
Yeah. Were the BioWare games on Xbox exclusive? The Knights of the Old Republic?
That's right. Yeah, KOTOR. Yeah,
that's what I played those on, and I loved them. And the original Red Dead Redemption was on there.
Yeah, I forgot about KOTOR. Yeah, I'm actually about to start a playthrough of that. By the time this episode goes live, I'll have probably finished KOTOR. So I hope I liked it because I've never played it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But yeah, so Halo 2 was a no-brainer, and then like, all they really would have had to do is just clean up the original one and re-release it, and we all would have been like, yeah, fucking right, I'll buy Halo 2. But they went I don't remember ever playing a game that felt more like playing a movie than Halo 2, at least at the time. Like,
oh, absolutely. Oh, and the voice actors they got were great, like the Arbiter.
Oh, I love Arbiter so much.
It kind of sounds like James Earl Jones. I don't think it was James Earl. One of the elites sounded like James Earl Jones. And as a kid, I was like, oh, that's the guy who voices Darth Vader. I don't think it actually was. I just had that moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
this is a big game.
And that's my favorite thing about Halo 2. In any form of media, I like it when you can, like when the good guy and the bad guy team up. Or when you can play as the bad guy. Do you know what I mean? Like Venom's my favorite Spider-Man character because he's that anti-hero and he's the bad guy, but he's also a good guy. Like I like that in everything.
Well, and what's great in Halo 2 is so like in Halo 1, it's like the Covenant are bad and the humans are good. And it's black and white.
And then the Flood is like bad. The enemy of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
good.
The
Flood is just like inherently evil.
Oh, for the record, like fuck the Flood. By the way,
yeah,
like I think most Halo fans agree, like fuck the Flood. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
So then with Halo 2, what they did was not humanize. Maybe is the wrong term since they're aliens, but they created empathy with the Covenant because all of a sudden the dynamic of their entire like Covenant of races changes because now you understand that like the prophets are lying to the elites, the grunts, the jackals. The brutes are, these megalomaniac, power-hungry tribe of, aliens who are trying to, like you create this whole dynamic power structure that, historically people have seen throughout our entire history. So now it goes from being this very 2D story of good guys versus bad guys. Bad guys are aliens, good guys are humans. Aliens, basically pew-pew first-person shooter. Awesome. And now you have this like very dynamic storyline where they're fleshing out the entire universe. I kind of made the comparison because the one character is like a directly influenced by the aliens to Sergeant or whatever. But like even the way the movies go, the first movie is this horror movie of aliens where it's just survivors on a ship. And then the second movie, they flesh out this, expansive universe just a little bit more. It's the same with these Halo games. The second game, they just so go into detail about the universe and the dynamic of the bad guys, which I loved. Like,
yeah, dude. Because like, go ahead.
And that's what makes great fiction. Like when you have good guys versus bad guys, but you don't have a good, story background for your bad guy, and he's just the bad guy. Like that's why Darth Vader's a great bad guy because he was a good guy, and you get to know his story and that he's the father of the good guy.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
I
was spoiled in 1982 or whatever that movie came out. That's the best Simpsons episode.
It is. That's the one of my
Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker as he's walking through the lineup. And
dude, every time I go to a hype movie, I'm nervous that someone walking out of the last showing is going to say something. It's like a big fraud, and it's because of that scene. So, but no, you're right. Like the original Halo, like the opening scene of the original Halo is like the Covenant is like invading their ship, and they go wake up Master Chief, and they're like, "Yo, man, we need you. Like we're in trouble here. Come on." But the opening scene to Halo 2, and I had forgotten all about it till I replayed it on the Master Chief Collection, and like the opening scene to Halo 2 is so fucking rad because on the human side, Master Chief and friends are like heroes, and like and all of humanity's like, "You guys saved us," and it's like a parade, and it's like 2 or 3 minutes of that, and then like and it cuts out to like the Covenant and one of the elite commanders, which I don't think they ever name him. I think his name is just ends up being Arbiter because he becomes an Arbiter. But like one of the commanders of the Covenant,
and he's one of their most decorated, like he's the general of their fleet. Like they mentioned several times, like he has had a track record of being unparalleled success.
Yeah. But then you see him like basically getting turned on by like all of the Covenant, and he's being tortured and like stripped of his like rank, and just because he lost in the original Halo. And like,
and their holy relic, like the Halo to them is this holy relic, and the prophets are building it up like this great journey into another existence, which is like a veiled metaphor for killing everything. But they're framing it in a way of this great like journey to everyone else. So that like already if you're examining what they're saying, you're kind of going like, oh, these guys are lying to everyone. And everybody's getting caught up in the religious fervor of their grouped culture.
Yeah, and you brought up a great point that it humanizes them right away, where it goes from just like the generic bad guys that you're killing in the first one. Already in the second one, you feel a little bad for this I'm just gonna call him Arbiter the rest of the way. You feel a little bad for the Arbiter because you're like, well, the fucking poor guy did everything he could to win this fight and lost, and now you guys are like torturing him and you turn on him. And so like right away you're like, oh wow, like you get to see it behind the curtains on the bad guys. And then like you said, as the story goes on and you start to realize that like the high prophets, like the leaders of the Covenant are like total bad guys. Like they're just pieces of shit. And then you get to start playing as Arbiter, which was like
so good. I love that.
Me too. I fucking forgot all about that. And then when you start going through chapters, and you go through a couple of chapters where you're Master Chief and you're shooting stuff and doing the thing that he does where he's like a badass. But then you become Arbiter where you can go invisible and you get one of those plasma swords, which I fucking love so much. And you get to start switching back and forth. And then eventually the two of them get sucked, like they end up in that fucking pit with that grave mind with that bad guy. That big mean thing. And then he basically like explains to the two of them, like, you guys are going to work together to stop this. And like,
because he's basically the hive mind of the Flood, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want anybody to activate the Halo rings. He's basically like, listen, you guys have to stop this because I don't want to be destroyed.
Right.
So it becomes like an enemy of enemy of enemy.
Right. Because so just like, I can't imagine anyone.
We just become best friends.
Yeah. like that's exactly what it is. Cause like, I can't imagine anyone listening to this doesn't know, but like the very long and short of it is the Flood eats everything, like the Covenant and humans and everything. Like they're a total parasite. And so if they activate, go ahead.
And like the Forerunners basically are this race from millions of years before like the current iteration of the Halo universe,
right?
Who fought the Flood and created the Halo rings to destroy the Flood, and in doing so, like, destroyed all life in the universe.
Yeah.
Or in the galaxy, I think.
Yeah, because the plan is if it destroys everything, then the Flood will die of starvation because there's nothing for them to eat.
And then they basically cataloged all the sentient life and then repopulated. And like, if you go deep dive into the story, like humans were fighting the Forerunners because we were fighting the Flood and like being pushed back by the Flood, and so we were trying to like the early iteration of humans in this pre-universal wiping event. Right. We're like pushing and fighting the Forerunners, and the Forerunners like were obliterating human race and then eventually realized, they were fighting these parasites and we were fighting them. Like it was this, miscommunication, I guess.
Right. And so about 2/3 of the way through the game, we'll get into the game mechanics and stuff in a minute, but like about 2/3 of the way through the game, you basically end up seeing this like reluctant alliance between Master Chief and Arbiter, who is like the Covenant's Master Chief, and the two of them have basically teamed up because they realize they have to stop the High Prophets, who are like the gods or whatever of the Covenants, from activating Halo. Because sorry to interrupt, but a lot of like the Arbiter's story is discovering that like he's sent to quell a rebellion of heretics, right? And that's the big thing. It's like if you go against the Prophets, you're a heretic. And he was considered a heretic when he failed for the first Halo game. He was like a heretic for not saving the ring. And then he's sent to hunt another elite who is a heretic. But this other elite has realized that the Prophets were lying to him. And so then the Arbiter starts to realize the truth slowly. Yeah. So he goes from like a disgraced, like failed former war hero to basically just like their bitch. Like he's like the Arbiter like title is just like he's going to die doing stupid missions for them. Then he starts to realize that like
extreme, and they there's a reverence to the Arbiter title because it's like, we're sending you on suicide missions
until you die. Yeah,
until you die. Yeah,
but he's doing it because what else is there? Like he's disgraced. He has no choice. And then he starts to realize that these guys, like the people that are making him go on these suicide missions, are even worse than Master Chief is. And then, and you know what? I forgot about this, dude. There's a scene right near the beginning, because the very, very beginning, before they show Arbiter getting punished and everything like that, he's talking about the demon, Master Chief, because they all call him the demon, which I love. Yeah. And he's like, at one point, not only would I have considered him, or he's like, at one point I considered him my friend. And you're like, what? But then they never really explain why he says that. Then they go into like the events right after the original Halo.
That's in the remaster.
Yeah.
That's not in the original.
Oh, okay. So it's in the remaster. So they tease that. And because I remember watching that.
That's him talking to one of the new Spartans.
Right. And he's like, at one point I would consider Demon my friend. And I was just what? Because I love it when bad guys and good guys team up. And so by the end of the game, that's what you're doing is it's Master Chief and Arbiter working together like these two badasses. Almost like a really badass like buddy flick. Like trying to stop the Flood and the Prophets and the Halo from going Oh, and it's such an incredible cinematic experience. Like the first one, the storyline is there, but the story's not that great. The story is what it is. The second one, they just pumped it full of steroids, and it lived up to the hype so perfectly because we were all so fucking jacked up from the insane advertising campaign they put out for Halo 2, and we just wanted to play Halo 2. And then you fired up, and in the first 5 minutes, you start to get all this crazy story. And I remember just being like, holy fuck, I got to call in sick to work for the next 2 days so I can fucking finish this incredible fucking game. Like, it was just insane.
The warehouse we work at, everybody is called in sick for the next week.
Because that's all we were doing was everyone in the warehouse was talking about Halo 2. Like, the campaign is so epic. And then right at the end, you I guess spoilers. I've already warned you guys, spoilers.
Cliffhanger ending.
Oh, an insane cliffhanger ending. Cortana, the little robotic chick voice thingy that's always in Master Chief's head, is dealing.
Who? Hold on. Just like a side note, Microsoft has named their Siri, their AI program, Cortana.
Oh, really? That's pretty rad.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fucking awesome.
Or maybe I just named mine Cortana. I'm pretty sure that's like their little AI thing on the Microsoft platforms.
So you like finish the game and then it shows the credits and everything, and then there's like a final scene where Gravemind, the fucking boss of the
hive
flood,
mind of the flood,
is talking to somebody about needing the information or something, and then you find out that who he's talking to is Cortana, and you're like, what? So then it's like she's turned on humanity and the Arbiter and everything, and she's working with this guy, and then poof, and it ends. And I remember, like, and I'm sure all of us do, if you were able to avoid spoilers and you got to the end of Halo 2, you're like, this is the greatest day of my life. This is so insane. And then it's over. And it's like, by the way, if you want to know how this ends, you've got to buy Halo 3. And it's coming on the Xbox 360, so you've got to buy our new system if you want to play the second half of this fucking game. And
I don't think it came out for years. Like,
years.
Halo 3, yeah. Like I wasn't working at TechScan anymore, like at the warehouse anymore. I was working at a road construction company, and when it came out, I was not gonna buy the new system. I had started PC gaming a little bit, and the guy, my supervisor, I was like, "Holy shit, dude! I will buy your old Xbox," because they had the red ring of death. I will buy your Xbox 360 from you. I need this game.
Yeah, and
like had to fix his red ring of death so that I could play the freaking game. Like, it was just, financial times were different then.
It's insane, you guys, and like. Oh, and the thing about it is like,
then it wasn't like I want this thing. It was like, I need to play Halo 3. Like, I need, the core of my being needs to know what happened.
Like I bought it. I think the first game I bought for my Xbox 360 was Gears of War. But if I didn't have one in time for Halo 3, I would have bought one for Halo 3. Like, it was just I
didn't get it for Gears of War because I'd never played it, and it was just the new title, and I was like, PC's better. It was kind of had that like PC Master Race complex already.
Yeah.
And then after getting Halo 3 and my supervisor his Xbox and going back and playing Gears of War, I was like, oh, and like the online was kind of dead at that point. Gears of War 2 was coming out soon.
Yeah.
And I just immediately was like, oh, I messed up. This game is so amazing. I should have gotten this. And like then became a console gamer again for years while balancing like a PC, secret life.
Yeah, I could talk Gears of War I fucking love those games. I could talk those games for days.
Oh man, I'm playing Gears 5 like mad right now.
So good. But like, so the point I'm trying to make with this cliffhanger ending is like, traditionally that would have really chapped my ass because I would have been like, you motherfuckers, you took $80 of my money, probably more because I had the metal like collector's edition copy of the game. But like, you took all my money. I've been waiting for this game for months. You have blown smoke up my ass, getting me so fired up. I can't wait to play it. And now after 20 hours or whatever of this campaign, you're like, oh yeah, by the way, you got to wait for Halo 3. And I remember like being so angry, but for like 10 minutes and then being like, that's fucking, what a game. Like, and that should be, that to me is the ultimate, like, tip of the hat to the quality of the campaign of Halo 2 is that it ended on a cliffhanger ending where we all had to wait years and buy another system to finish it. And nobody was mad because the game was so fucking good.
Well, and then the follow-up to Halo 3 was as good. Like,
Halo 3 was rad. I have been waiting to play Halo 3 until you and I got this podcast done so that I didn't get anything mixed up as far as mechanics and stuff go. But like, good. You and I are recording this today. I'm going to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake tonight or tomorrow, and then I'm hopping into Halo 3. Because I'm like, well, now I got to see how it ends. Because I don't remember how it fucking ends because it's been so long since I played it.
Spoiler alert, they got rid of akimbo SMG.
It's so fucking good.
That was my favorite weapon platform, having those two little SMGs and just and they got rid of it in Halo 3, and I was just like, I am betrayed.
Because that's another thing, is like all we've talked about is like the story, because the story is phenomenal, right? But the gameplay, you guys, they took everything Halo did and made it so much better. And the the best thing to me that they did in Halo 2 was gave you the ability to use those swords. Because I fucking love me a plasma sword. Any chance I have one, I got one. But
you could use them in Halo 1, couldn't you?
No.
Just in multiplayer.
Maybe
just
multiplayer.
In the deathmatch.
Okay, yeah. I don't see. Okay, and I was gonna bring that up. Like, I never played any of the multiplayer in these games. So anyone did you?
We play in the neighborhood guys would come over. We play the split screen. Okay. It was awful.
I never played the multi. I was just a campaign guy. So listen. If you're listening to this and you're like, I remember playing Halo 2 on Xbox Live for like years of a time. Like, I'm sorry, you may not get a ton of love out of this. Like, I mean, unless.
But it wasn't there. Xbox Live wasn't what it is. Like, it was. I think it was hard to set that up.
It existed, but it was
It existed, but it wasn't mainstream. Like, no. I didn't know anybody who was playing it on Xbox.
No, I bet you Halo 2 actually had a big role in making it more mainstream. I bet you it did.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a single player guy.
So the last time I played Halo 2 was at like Nintendo, like Ryan Lee's.
Yeah, I remember that
stag party where we had like the two TVs. We had them linked so that it was like 4 versus 4.
Yeah.
And his younger brothers were playing it online, and they were just dismantling all of us.
Yeah, they were good.
I thought I was good, and then I was like, oh, these young guys are on another level. They play in, like, I'm a big fish in a small pond. They're like big fish in big ponds. Right.
But yeah, so I don't know, maybe the sword worked in that then, because I do remember that this was like that you couldn't use the sword in Halo 1. And it was such a huge deal because motherfuck, have we all been killed by that fucking sword?
Yeah.
So many goddamn
the only
times.
Counter to it was the shotgun.
Yeah.
That was the only counter.
But then in Halo 2, you could have a sword. And so any chance I had to throw a sword as like my backup weapon, I fucking did. Because then you could bust it out and just go crazy. Particularly as Arbiter, because you could turn on the camouflage and go invisible. And then start hacking and slashing guys. But like another thing Halo 2 did that Halo 1 did was Halo 2 gave you the ability to dual wield weapons. Which was a complete game changer because there are so many rad combos you could make.
Oh, yeah. Like a needler with the plasma pistol. So you charge up, drop their shield with the plasma pistol, and then just rock them with a needler.
Yeah. Yeah, it made the needler good. Because like in the first one, I hated the fucking needler. And
you'd have to pick it up when you ran out of ammo.
Yeah. You're like, God damn it.
I don't want this gun.
But in the second one, you throw a needler as like your second weapon. And like you said, drop a shield and then just fucking hammer a guy with it. It is awesome. And some of the assault rifles you get to use in this one, like you mentioned earlier. Oh, yeah. The weapons are so good.
Yeah, the DMR was awesome. Like that 3-round burst and catching the headshot.
Yes.
Oh, so good. Yes. And then the SMGs were my favorite, though. Dual wielding SMGs was so much fun.
And you could just hammer it.
That first level in Johannesburg, where you're like on Earth and the Covenant is at Earth.
Yeah.
I think that's the first level. And then you go up into the ship to return their bomb, right?
Yeah. Or I don't know if you're actually on Earth. I don't know if they actually say that. But yeah, it's like, it looks like Earth. Like, and you're in like that, like you're in like a business building or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do a great job with that level of just teaching you the two new like main rifles that like the humans use. And I've played through that first level 100 times. I fucking love that level so much.
Oh, it's so good. And then and then you chase their ship down and catch their like warp portal just barely. And the whole city is just obliterated because they warped within the atmosphere. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. In the first hour, they have you. Like, they have you. And just like being able to dual wield weapons made it so much more fun. And there were so many more weapons. And then you could come up with all these crazy different combos and stuff like that. Like, it really makes the first one seem boring. But frankly, like the first one, and listen, I'm not shitting on the original Halo because I like that game a lot. But the first one was
innovative
boring.
in that. Well, and it was innovative in that. Like, there was no other first-person shooter that you could use vehicles. Like, the vehicle play in Halo 1 and, like, carrying on in all of them was revolutionary because the other first-person shooters, if there was a vehicle, it was janky. Like it wasn't awesome to be rolling in a vehicle. It was like a stupid gimmick for one level.
Yeah.
Even in Gears of War, there was a vehicle level and it was gimmicky. It was shitty.
Yeah.
But Halo, like the vehicle stuff was just as good as the gameplay, and it just gets better in Halo 2.
Ripping around in a Warthog is always going to be fun. But you're right. They made it so much better.
Even a Banshee. Stealing a Banshee from an Elite?
Yes, I forgot about that. Because you couldn't do that in the first one that you could do in the second one, where you could, like, Grand Theft Auto style hop on their ship and, like, kick them out and take it. Yeah. That was so badass. It never got old. Oh.
Never. And doing that in multiplayer?
Yeah.
Like, if you were playing against someone and you did that to them, holy cow, were you the king?
Yeah.
You were the king.
And it was hard because they could kill you when you got close, right? Like, you had to do it just right or you'd get fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. So many good memories. I forgot how much I adore Halo 2 till I did this recent replay. And I was like, what a fucking great game. Everything Halo 1 did, it did it better. Everything.
Well, and I always go to, like, music is such a big part of gaming for me. And the Halo soundtrack, you can sit there and listen to it. I mean, it's a little bit, I don't know. It's one of those ones. It's like the Legend of Zelda soundtrack, the Final Fantasy soundtrack. Yeah. It's iconic. When you hear that, the church like choir-esque, almost reverent music, it instantly is like, oh, Halo. I hear Halo.
My go-to...
Like other people...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. My go-to Halo song is that bum, 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 bum. And whenever you hear it, you can't help but just be like, oh, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. Like, just you get so fired up and oh my God, I fucking love this game. And
it just makes me think of like that ba 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 ba. It makes me think of like getting in a Warthog and someone jumping on the gunner seat. I'm always the driver. I love driving.
Yeah, me too.
And
you gotta jump.
Someone jumping in the gunner seat and we just haul ass.
Fuck, man. I'm not a huge first-person shooter guy. Nintendo's my system of choice, as I've made abundantly clear over the last 99 plus episodes of this show. Halo 2 it's special. It's a legitimately special game, and sure, it's a great game. But it's the hype that was around it and the blockbuster advertising atmosphere that came with it, coupled with the fact that it lived up to all the hype.
Yeah, it delivered.
That's the thing is but they could have just made a sequel, like I say, that was just more of the same and it would have been fine. But then they obviously like swung for the fences. They were like, had they just done that, had they just made Halo 2 like a rehash of the original Halo, I don't think the franchise wouldn't be where, like, I mean, and some people argue the franchise is kind of a mess now, but the franchise would have never reached the heights it did. You know what I mean? If they had just kind of mailed it in and done more of the same. But the fact that they really took a chance and jumped and swung for the fences on Halo 2 and literally hit it on every single possible level. And then through this insane marketing campaign behind it and had all of us freaking out about it it's one of the biggest video games of all time. And then we haven't even talked about online because, like I said, neither of us played a ton of online with it, but it has to have been instrumental in Xbox Live being the eventual force that it became. Has to be.
So when people talk about like Xbox having Xbox Live with their with games, that's the only game I ever hear talked about. I don't think any other game was online for the Xbox. Like I think that was the only one.
No, I was looking at the Wikipedia page and it said something about how it was like the most played game on Xbox Live. Here it is. On release, Halo 2 is the most popular video game on Xbox Live, holding that rank until the release of Gears of War on the Xbox 360 nearly 2 years later. So
but if it was the only game on Xbox, so there must have been other ones.
Has to have been, but the bottom line is like none were even. I mean, if the original Halo built Xbox, Halo 2 built Xbox Live.
Yeah,
like it's. I don't think Sony has a franchise as important to it as Halo was to Xbox. I guess maybe you could argue Final Fantasy VII to the original PlayStation.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry everybody, we had some technical difficulties there. What were we talking about?
Xbox Live standalone. Okay, yeah. I was just going on a rant. We were saying like Halo made Xbox, like basically saved Xbox, made it into a thing, right? Like the platform.
Yeah.
Halo 2 was the like thing that made Xbox Live a reality, made that dream a reality. And then we were saying, like, what does PlayStation
Oh, that's
have?
right. Yeah.
And so we were saying, like, Final Fantasy VII definitely made the PlayStation like a household thing that everybody was like, oh, I have to get this game. I have to get this platform.
Yeah.
Have to, right? Need versus like want, right?
Yeah.
Other than like, they don't have any long lasting, big reaching titles that have carried over into like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, other than maybe like the Uncharted series, but those are single player games. They're really good games, really great stories, but it's not like a whole universe developed out of those. They might make a movie, but it's not, you know, something like Halo has books, Lego sets, you know, toys, you know, it's a whole, like, it's like Star Wars. It's at, you know,
it's an empire
on that level.
Yeah.
It's an empire. It's on that level of huge. Right?
Yeah. And the bottom line is that empire wouldn't exist without Halo 2. Like, they could have stopped with Halo. People bought their Xbox. Now what do we do? But instead they doubled down on Halo 2. And I'm telling you right now, I can't even imagine. Like, I would love to have been a fly on the wall for the meetings when they decided to have Halo 2 end in this giant cliffhanger. And then we'll continue it on the next one on our next system. Like, that's fucking ballsy, man. That is fucking bold.
Bill Gates was in that meeting and they told him that and he just instantly turned gray. What?
Yeah. And it obviously worked because, like, it was, I mean, a lot of people, like, I remember playing Halo 4 and just kind of like, and people think Halo 5 isn't that good, but Halo, at least that's my understanding, but Halo 2 and Halo 3 are just so important. I stopped
after Halo 4. When the Master Chief was essentially done, I was
right. But this is the peak.
And like,
this is the peak though. Halo 2 and Halo 3 are the fucking...
Yeah, because I think you have to, they're like part 1 and 2 of each other. Like, I know Halo 1 is part 1, but it can stand alone. Like any trilogy, like that's the trilogy.
Yeah. Like
that's where...
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like, to me, Halo 2 is Xbox's Mario Brothers 3 and Halo 3 is Xbox's Super Mario World. Like, it's just...
that's a good...
They're so important. And fuck, dude, like, I was so excited about this episode and I was like, I really hope that we could just get into, like, just really express like the excitement that was fucking like, because we all remember it. I'm telling you, I fucking pray people that have listened to this episode have been taken back to 2004 and been like, I fucking remember that. I remember the excitement. We all remember that case, like that orange sky background behind Master Chief. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Or the collector's edition that was that silver like tin case with the blue, like the O with the 2 in it. Like, what a fucking time, man. God damn
it was the Halo O, the classic Halo O. And like, even like, man, when chalking up the videos, and because like I said, I haven't gotten to play it yet because fuck PC letting me down.
Yeah.
It's never let me down before, except my monitor crashed the other day and everything's falling apart on my PC and I need to build a new one. And that's the bane of PC gaming. But like watching the videos and seeing the playthrough where this guy, like when the chief is on the ground and it's Johannesburg, I'm pretty sure. That actually might be where they're from in District 9, but it's some like South African like city or something like that. I can't remember, but it's like a desert city. I don't fucking know. I'm 35. I can't remember shit from yesterday. So the chief like walks up and there's these two, USNC Marines and they're fucking like just, the one's a sniper and they're getting dismantled. The one guy's kind of freaking out and the chief just walks up and there's a scarab and him and the sergeant walk up and the two soldiers are just like, well, I've never seen anything like it. I'm like, oh my God, look. And the tank is just firing plasma bolt after plasma bolt, just dismantling the city. And getting to fight that thing was so exciting because it was bigger than anything you'd seen. Like you fought the tanks, but you also in Halo 1, you fought tanks. Like they're plasma tanks. You fought them, but you had Scorpion tanks. You had the equivalent. You had everything the equivalent. This was the first thing from the Covenant. You were like, you don't have the equivalent. Like, how do you fight that? I mean, your tank is tiny compared to it.
Yeah.
And the chief is your equivalent. Like it just built him up to be even bigger of a hero. Because he's now blowing up their ships single-handedly. He's blowing up their big artillery scarab walkers. He is like unstoppable.
Yeah, just the ultimate badass.
Yeah, just living up to that hype, right?
But they also do a great job of making Arbiter his equal. Like he doesn't, maybe not his equal, but like at least like his peer. You know what I mean? Like you don't feel like, now I gotta go back to playing as the shitty alien. Like they make him come across as a badass.
I like the Arbiter's story more than the Chief story, because the Chief story is I love feeling like a badass playing as the Chief, right? But the Chief story is like, he's the Chief, he's unstoppable, and the story, he's Doom, Microsoft, he's Doom guy. Yeah, he's Superman. He's Doom guy. He's the guy who's going to beat everything.
Yeah. Don't
worry, the Chief has it. Like you said, the cliffhanger ending where Cortana betrays him, like that's where it's like, oh, no, the Chief's weakness.
Yeah.
Cortana's working with the Flood. She's his rock.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's so fucking good, man.
It's like a stab to the heart, because the Chief is unstoppable as long as he has Cortana. Yeah. She's his rock, right?
Yeah, she's his soul, yeah. And then he's gone. And then, and you mentioned it once, but I meant to bring it up when you said it. There's a point where Chief goes to deal with the bomb. Maybe the most badass line in video game history. And he's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to give the Covenant their bomb back, or something like that. And it's just,
that's exactly it. It's
what a badass. And then he just kicks it off the edge and like holds on to it and flies through space.
And ship. Basically, Halo drops, like upper atmosphere drops the bomb into their ship. So good.
Gave you I got hard playing it. I was just like, he's like, I'm gonna give them their bomb back. I was like, you're such a boss. Fuck me.
That's called a nerd boner.
Man,
just so you know.
So fucking good, Tyler. This has been a long episode. I think I'm spent. Before we score this thing, just quickly, I was looking at some scores off Wikipedia for this game. Just to remind you guys, 95, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 94, 5 out of 5, 98. It's one of the most critically acclaimed video games of all time. And even if you don't like Halo, and I know there are people out there that don't play or like Halo, that's fine. But I'm telling you guys right now, when it comes to online gaming and the blockbuster releases that we get for games today and stuff, Halo 2 is to those things what Mario Brothers is to home video games. Halo 2 was a huge deal. It has to be, with the possible exception of Halo 1, the most important game in Microsoft history, in Xbox's history, is Halo 2. Yeah. Has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't an oversaturated thing at the time. With Call of Duty, every year there was 2 studios making Call of Duty games, and every year a Call of Duty game was coming out.
Yeah.
As good as those games were for a first-person shooter, the market was saturated. There was so much Call of Duty.
Right.
And they were huge, but it didn't have the gravity of Halo, because you didn't get a Halo every year. So the Halo you got, Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, you played those games so fucking much.
Yeah.
The storyline.
Yeah.
I've only played 2, and I'm going to get shit on for this. I've only played 2 Call of Duty games start to finish.
I've never played one. So fucking yell at us. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Fucking
yell. The first Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2 have a really good storyline, but it's not epic to the level of Halo. It's just a whole nother, I think, but I'm a sci-fi nerd too, so.
Right. No, they're fucking great, man. God damn it. I love Halo 2. I love Halo 2. I never think to put it on my favorite games of all time list. And after replaying it, and now after having this conversation, I'm like, you know what? It's a contender, at least, anyways. Because it took over the world for a little while. And
if anybody's on the fence about picking up the Master Chief Collection and checking out the remastered, seriously, you can go on YouTube. You could watch a playthrough from the original Halo 2, or even the cinematics from the original Halo 2, and then watch the new one and the remastered, and it looks so good. I'm hyped. I'm mad that it didn't come in my Master Chief, that it's coming soon in my Master Chief Collection after seeing that, because I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, if you have an Xbox, I'm telling you guys, it's worth you get 3 months of Game Pass for $1, pay the $1 just to play the Master Chief Collection. You can probably skip Halo 1 even. I mean, it's fun, but I would say if you're only going to play one if you play Halo 2, you're going to play Halo 3. But play them.
Spoiler alert, Halo 1, they release the Flood, they blow up the ring, Master Chief goes home with the Sergeant and Cortana. Yeah.
And you run around in a circular hallway fighting the Flood for about 3 hours, and it gets old. It fucking gets really old. And
the last boss, not boss, but the last section of the game where you're doing the Warthog escape, that's fun. That's a staple in the Halo series. Having the ring blowing up behind you.
The getaway with the music playing and everything. Oh, it's so good. So good.
Yeah.
I don't know what to score this out of. You know what? It's episode 100, so we'll go back. We'll go vintage. We'll go back to this scale out of 100. On a scale of 1 to 100, what would you score Halo 2, Tyler?
I'm giving it a perfect 100. My memories of it are like I said, I haven't played it since that I think it was his stag party or something.
I remember that because I was there too, because we shaved his eyebrows.
Yeah,
we shaved his eyebrows at a stag, and then he had to get married with his head shaved and his eyebrows gone or something. And we got in a lot of trouble. But yeah, I remember playing it there too.
So that's the last time I played it, but just looking at the videos and everything and my memories of it, and I played it hundreds and hundreds of times. I love the Halo series. I love the whole franchise. The music's there. The gameplay was smooth. It defined like first person shooters on consoles for how you moved, the first Halo was Halo Combat Evolved. They should have named Halo 2 Combat Evolved. Like, it was so smooth for what was out at the time for shooters, for anything. Like, compared to Doom. Doom, it's so jerky, at that time. Like, it felt like you were there. Mm-hmm. Everything about it, 10. You empathize with the bad guys. They fleshed out the story. Like, it's 100 out of 100.
Yeah, it is. Like, you guys know that I don't give perfect scores because of the Super Mario World, but like 99 out of 100. And the point against it is that it's not Super Mario World. It's so good. It's like that's his point against it, is that it's not my favorite game of all time. But it's a perfect game. It's a perfect shooter. The campaign is rad. It's gorgeous. It's gripping story. It's important to the history of gaming. And right around, I would say about episode 80, I started thinking about what game we were going to cover on episode 100. And then as soon as I started replaying Halo 2, I'm like, this is the game. I remember this. I remember how important this. I fucking love this game. Tyler, fuck yeah, buddy. Good job. Thank you for doing this. That was fucking good stuff. Halo 2 is the shit.
Yep.
And I'm telling you guys, if you haven't played the game, and Tyler, you can vouch for this, literally just look up the giving their bomb back scene. Because it's so awesome. It's so awesome.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff.
Like I said, and great voice actors. Like, you can see Ron Perlman in his glory days when nobody knew who the fuck he was.
Yes. Yeah, play it. Fucking just no excuse. Play it. Just play it. You gotta play it. You probably already have played it, but play it again because you don't remember how awesome it is. Play it. Good stuff, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Done.
Me inside your head now.
How much time was left?
You don't want to know.
Cairo, this is an Emberclad. The carrier shield is down. I'm in position and ready for immediate assault.
Negative, Commander. Not against a ship that size. Not on your own.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Tyler, thank you for coming over and talking Halo. I guess you didn't come over. You called me. Tyler, thank you for calling me and talking Halo 2 with me. And like I've already said about 850 times, thank you so much to every single one of you nerds out there that have listened, supported, Patreon pledged, Twittered, shared, whatever you've done to fucking spread the word of Remember the Game. You guys are awesome. I wouldn't be doing this without the support. I would have quit a long time ago. But as long as you guys are going to keep listening, I'm going to keep yelling. We are going to make this the biggest retro gaming podcast in the world. I have no doubt in my mind. Thanks a lot, you guys. You're the fucking best. I will be back on Sunday with Expansion Pass, where I rank every game we have ever talked about here on the show. You can get that and over 25 bonus episodes if you go to patreon.com/rememberthegame for only $2 a month. There's your plug. And I'll be back next week as we kick off the new era with episode 101 of Remember the Game. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. My name is Adam Blank, and I'll talk to you all in a few days. Cheers.